Going everyone, my bad here. Coming today with another bad top 5. Now about a month or month and a half ago, we started doing the top 5 knives that make us happy. Well, a few of my knives were getting some of that good old salted bread corn treatment that I appreciate a lot. So I had to wait to do my top 5. Now that I got that box back, let's get to it. I guess to start off, let's go with this little bitty thing right here. This is the K390 Man Bug. This thing makes me smile for multiple reasons. First, I got medium to large hands. Some gloves I have to wear a large. I prefer medium gloves because I like to actually be able to feel what I'm holding on to. Usually wear mechanics mediums. But I can get a full 2.5, and it's a seated 2.5 finger grip. This is a wonderful 2.5 finger grip. Move over and center in the camera a little bit. Another reason is this steel is awesome. I wished I owned more knives in this steel, and I will own more knives in this steel. My dream Spyderco Shaman will be in this steel. Spyderco, I know I'm a small fish, but come on guys, let's make a K390 Shaman. That will be the bee's knees. That will be the tits. I promise you. Let's go a little bit over to the right and talk about a budget knife. This is a CRKT Pilar 3. Now unfortunately, I cannot compare this to other CRKT Pilars, but I've heard that this is the best of all of the Pilars, hands down. Now, what makes me smile about it is it's got that salty red corn love, of course, but even before I sent it to Salty, this is one of my favorite knives that makes me smile. The action of a knife that I bought secondhand for 30 bucks is amazing. This thing is so drop shutty. It's so smooth. I can spider flick it. I can slow roll it. This thing is a fidget monster for 30 bucks. It's in D2 steel. I don't know, man. I've always been like a traditional drop point type of guy, but this blade shape makes me happy. I've used it in so many ways. I've cut bacon on a beach while making jalapeno poppers. Cut the bacon, slid off the cream cheese, filled in the jalapenos, cut the jalapenos, done everything with this knife, stuck it in sand and washed it off in the water. And this is D2, so of course I put a little bit of oil on it right after, but it had sand stuck in the pivot and it was still smooth. I don't know how that was possible. You could hear the sand, but it was just as smooth as ever. The CRKT PR3 is probably my favorite budget knife of all time. This thing is so awesome. If you got like reservations about Cricut / CRKT, you need to get a Pilar 3 and all of those reservations will go away. Shield arms, that's shots fired at you, bro. So let's go on to this package right here. This is a Spyderco Endura in Semi Damascus VG10 titanium handles. I've had this knife for a while. I sent it out to get some work done on it. Basically, we just got us a pocket clip that got put on her. That pocket clip, it's pretty awesome. It makes the knife so much better than the original pocket clip. The action on this is wonderful. I can one-hand it. This is literally my gentleman's knife when I dress up and go out on the town. I'll be wearing this. This knife is it's been in my collection for a while. I got it from 1 Minute Knife Review. I just enjoy it so much. It makes me happy. I've actually never carried this knife because I don't go out to many table events, but it stayed in my car for 6 months just so I could play with it and look at it. It's by far the nicest, prettiest folding knife that I own. Probably nicest overall, period. But it makes me very happy. So, should I do my overall favorite design, but the one that makes me happy right now? I could also bring this one in if I wanted to. Or should I go the highest end knife that I've ever owned that I think is just the awesomest? Let's go with the Spyderco since we'll get the Spydercos over and I'll do the high end one last. This is a heavily modded Para 3 in Maximate. And this is a Para 3 lightweight, lightly modded in M4. Now, it's not necessarily the blade steel or the handle material or any of that. It's the Para 3 in general. The Para 3, the way that it fits in my hand, the way the ergos are, the forward troll, the jimping on the back, the ramp, the spotty hole, the smoothness of generally most all Para 3s, even the lightweights. Everything about the Para 3 screams My Bad Adventures to me. I can skin a deer with this knife if I wanted to. I could go work in the garden if I wanted to. I can easily carry it and it'd be no problem. This is probably my favorite carry model of all time. The Para 3, there's things. There's not a thing that I could say about a Para 3 that hasn't already been said. Except for if anybody's ever said anything bad about the Para 3, because I cannot think of one single bad thing about this knife. This knife design. I can always say something bad about steel or whatever, but this knife design is probably my favorite of all time. And I'm not even going to say probably. This knife design is my favorite of all time. I love the Para 3. It just makes me so happy. It's so fidgetable. It's so fun to play with. It is an awesome design. So before I get to the last knife today, let's go with our honorable mention. What we have here is the Benchmade Super Freak. I love the handle on this. I love the inset liners. I love the back spacers. Dude, this knife makes me pretty happy. The action of this is just so fun. I can fidget with it as well. But as I'm looking through all these knives on my table, there's not one single knife that this knife makes me happier than. And this knife makes me very happy. Well, most generally, most of every knife makes me happy. But there's certain things that I wish that this had. Like I wish it had a forward finger tool. Things like that. But those scales, that's just beautiful. The back spacers are awesome. The clip leaves things to be desired. And the forward troll area leaves things to be desired. The blade shape is the perfect blade shape to me. This is another knife I could skin a deer with, or a squirrel, or whatever, a rabbit. I can do all kinds of things with this knife. I can whittle with this knife, take it to the garden, I've taken this M4 blade to a boat and had no problems. So there's my honorable mention. And this is probably the knife that has made me the happiest in the past month and a half, 2 months. Not so much my favorite knife, although it would give the Para 3 and the PM3. Not PM3s. If I've been saying PM3 all morning, I'm sorry. I just woke up, changing up my format. The Para 3. If I've been saying PM3s, that's incorrect. The Para 3s. This would give the Para 3s in the Pilar 3. The Pilar 3 run for its money, and this is the Chavez Liberation 229, and it's some full titanium M390 blade. I've got this. I believe I bought this for $300 retail. I got it secondhand, of course. Retail, it comes to $350 plus tax, so that's probably going to run you like $375 or something like this. This is the highest end knife that I will ever keep at this point of my collection. I've had a Sabenza 31 small, and I just didn't like the pocket clip to it, and I didn't like the action. This action is much crisper in my opinion, just as smooth but crisper. And that pocket clip, while some people might frown about the looks of it right here, what I'm talking about is that pocket bit is a thick boy. That pocket clip does not say dainty. You take a Spyderco pocket clip and it's damn near paper thin, and I feel like I just went from an M16 when I was in basic training, and then they hand me an M4 out of basic training, and that thing's like a little toy, and I'm going to break this thing. Of course, can't break an M4. M4 is an amazing weapon, but that pocket clip probably is the same. I just didn't like it, and I didn't trust it. I know that sounds stupid of a gripe on a knife. Oh, you don't like the pocket clip because this, and this. Well, with tax and all, that knife cost me $533. And no, I did not like the pocket clip. And if there's something that you don't like a knife that costs that much, that knife is probably not for you. And I'm kind of like Salty Red Corn. If I have a knife that I'm not going to use, it's probably not going to stay in my collection very long. And I did not see me using that knife. I could not justify using that knife. This knife, I don't have a problem using. This thing is a freaking tank. I'm about to send this knife off to Mikey at Cerebral Ballsy. He's going to do a sharpening job on it. I'm going to see what he's made of. He said he ain't scared. Let's see what he can do. But anyways, guys and ladies, that's my top 5 knives plus one honorable mention that makes me happy. I'd like to see what makes y'all happy as well. Fletcher, I don't think that you've done a top 5 knives that makes you happy, but if you have, I'm sorry, but if you haven't, please do one of those. I'd like to see it. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment on my videos. Tell old My Bad what you'd like to see from old My Bad. My Bad dude, buy anything you'd like. Y'all have a good one.